DJ Sumbody was killed because he stole drugs from KT Molefe, as revealed by Lieutenant Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Let us listen to this clip.
How do I conclude that indeed these are members of the drug cartel?
Honorable Member, the details can be presented by the team as a covert operation. They have the details about it that I might not be able to talk to it. However, a strategy of arrest, of an investigation of a case, you might arrest a person, although in this case you are labeling them as part of P5 and the P5 is involved in this drug syndicate. We might not arrest them for the drug specific, but the bigger investigation that talks about drugs is there, but the charges that we are putting against them are something else. It's a strategy we employ in the police to keep people behind bars until we are ready with a bigger case and we throw it in. A typical example is the same strategy we employed in KZN when we were dealing with the AKA case. And we arrested a whole lot of them for other cases, just to keep them in custody until we were ready with the main case when it was matured and we could identify all of them. And then we started charging all of them for the murder of our celebrities. Otherwise, they were already in custody. So similar strategy we are doing on these ones. We are taking them for other cases. We are adding any other case because they've got many cases. Safe to say, with respect to the case of the death of that employee at Vereeniging, Mr. Swart, it had nothing to do with drugs. It was tender issues there that involves Mr. Molefe. But the murders of these DJs is drug related. When the picture you're going to see when the matters gets to court is that this one thought he's clever by stealing this one's drugs and he starts selling them, and this one then killed him. Mm. So not to say the victim is a clean man on drugs. He died because of something that he did wrong to this one. So we have a consignment of over 200 million rand, for instance, if I use that as an example. The police in the organization is there to identify exhibit, you book it in the SCP-13 register in the police station, you leave it there. If it's such big thing that you transfer to another safer storage place, which in this case will be a forensic lab if it's drugs. But it so happened that in KwaZulu-Natal at one stage, there was a consignment found in Durban. And our laboratory in Durban is at Manzimtoti, which is about 10, 15 kilometers away from Durban. And they did not have a facility to keep such consignment of drugs. And the next place where we take these drugs to is Pretoria, where we keep these drugs in the bigger storages. But it so happened that case that the drugs were entered into the SCP-13 register of a police station, booked out the same time, and transported south of KZN to Potchefstroom, and locked into the offices of the PCI that had no one guarding it. And during so-called alleged load shedding at night, there was a break-in in a big storage facility, a break-in inside that facility. There were bags of drugs, and there were also other drugs that were not associated with the ones that came, the consignment that came in. And there were firearms, illegal firearms that were also stored in there. But when the break-in happened, the only thing that was stolen was this specific consignment of 200 million rand of drugs and nothing else. You arrive at the crime scene, you will expect the crime scene is being cleaned, everything is stolen. But you arrive there, you find an AK-47 standing there, then you say, but why didn't they steal this AK-47? Then you realize the mission was not the AK-47. The mission was drugs. So they came to collect what is theirs, and they took it away. They left everything else untouched. And that made us conclude that it was a plan breaking. Because the question we are asking TPCI, why did you allow these drugs to come to your offices? And there's no one guarding. And you have load shedding, and this thing happened during load shedding. So we believe the information tells us that those drugs taken there ended up in Johannesburg, are part of the drugs that caused about majority of the murders that happened in Johannesburg. Because people took it and they started stealing, and they did not deliver them where they were supposed to deliver them. And that's what caused the unhappiness from some of the people. So yes, we are not talking about the drugs on the arrest of Molefe, but drugs is part of the problem. that leads into the murder. The charge is a murder, but the reason is the drug that comes as a result. So there are many others. The ones that we are not mentioning is because we have not charged them with anything. That's why we're not comfortable to even mention them. But they are there.
Second last.
Okay, guys. You'd remember that in 2022, we lost DJ Sumbody, a popular DJ who also happens to be a businessman who we are told he owned nightclubs in Gauteng and also in Cape Town. So when he died, one of the people who were killed alongside him was his bodyguard. So they killed him and his bodyguard. So now it is emerging that KT Molefe is the mastermind behind DJ Somebody's killing or murder. The motive behind that murder, it is the drugs. So this now drives me to a very important topic that we need to have, that this so-called lifestyles that we're having in our areas, lifestyle centers and clubs, are nothing but drug peddling centers. It is now being proven that these centers are centers for peddling drugs, are centers where drugs are being peddled. So it means they are part of the problem in our society. And I really hope people who are involving themselves in these things, they know what is it that they're getting themselves into, either by buying these clubs or by frequenting these clubs, going to these lifestyle centers and all of that. I hope people know that what is it that they're getting themselves into, because they become part of this web of drug dealings. Because you can tell in terms of how the man that these people they generated, the lifestyles that they live, that it cannot solely be because of the alcohol and the events that they host there. Because they are able to invite celebrities and pay them monies. So this tells you that there's other streams of revenues. So what happens is that people who own drugs, people who are drug dealers, they target these centers, and of course they're working with the owners of these centers. They target these centers and they are working with the owners of these centers. So these people who own the centers make their centers available for distribution of these drugs. Hence, I'm calling them the drug peddling centers. You see, this is what now is being revealed to us. So I really, really and genuinely hope that people now will open their eyes and begin to see these so-called lifestyle centers and nightclubs for what they are, that they are part of the problem that we are having in our society. They are exacerbating the problem that we are confronted with as the society. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Tebos Kosana. The name of the platform is Izwi Labansundu. Thank you very much.